The human body is not a machine that simply wears out with time. It is a living conversation between movement and stillness, between challenge and adaptation, between what we ask of it and how it responds. Aging does not end this conversation. In many ways, it deepens it. Every cell still listens. Every muscle fiber still waits for a signal. Every joint still remembers how to move. The question is not whether change is possible. The question is whether we choose to speak to the body in a language it understands, the language of gentle, consistent movement. Inside each muscle lies a remarkable intelligence. When a muscle is used, even lightly, tiny messages travel from that muscle to the brain and back again, strengthening the connection between intention and action. Over time, these repeated signals preserve muscle fibers, maintain coordination, and slow the natural thinning that comes with age. This is not about building large muscles or pushing limits. It is about reminding the body that it is still needed, still capable, still part of daily life. A simple chair squat, a slow wall push, or a gentle step in place may appear modest, but biologically they awaken systems that protect independence. Balance, often taken for granted in youth, is not a single skill. It is a conversation between the eyes, the inner ear, the nervous system, and the muscles of the legs and core. When one of these systems weakens, the others must compensate. The beauty of gentle balance exercises is that they train all these systems together. Standing on one foot while holding a countertop, shifting weight from side to side, or slowly walking heel to toe, teaches the brain to process sensory information more efficiently. With practice, the brain becomes better at predicting and correcting small disturbances, reducing the likelihood of falls. What looks like stillness from the outside is, inside the body, a highly active process of learning and refinement. Mobility is not merely about flexibility. It is about nourishment. When joints move, they bathe their own surfaces in fluid rich with nutrients. Unlike many tissues, cartilage does not have a direct blood supply. It relies on movement to stay healthy. Gentle range of motion exercises for the shoulders, hips, knees, and spine act like a quiet irrigation system, delivering nourishment with each controlled motion. Stiffness is not always a sign of damage. Often, it is a sign of underuse. And underuse, unlike many conditions, can be reversed. There is also a deeper layer to home workouts that science continues to explore: the effect of movement on mood and cognition. Physical activity stimulates the release of natural chemicals that support emotional stability and mental clarity. But beyond chemistry, there is meaning. When a person chooses to move, they participate in their own care. They shift from passive observer of aging to active partner in health. This psychological shift can be as powerful as the physical benefits. It restores a sense of agency, the quiet knowledge that one still has influence over how the body feels tomorrow. Perhaps the most important element of a home workout for seniors is not intensity, duration, or variety. It is kindness. Kindness toward the body's current abilities, kindness toward its limitations. Science shows that consistency matters more than perfection. A few minutes every day can reshape biological patterns in ways that hours of occasional effort cannot. The body responds not to grand gestures, but to repeated, respectful invitations to move. When we look at the human body through this lens, exercise stops being a task and becomes a relationship, a daily conversation that says, "I am listening, I am willing, I am still here." And the body, in its quiet and astonishing wisdom, answers back. The process of aging is often misunderstood as a gradual decline, an inevitable silencing of the body's capabilities. Yet, when we look closely, we see that the human body remains profoundly responsive, even in its later years. Every fiber, every cell, every neural connection retains the ability to sense, adapt, and communicate. Aging does not erase potential. It shifts the way the body interacts with the world. The question is not whether change is possible, but how we choose to engage with the body's enduring capacity for adaptation. When seniors take the simple step of moving with awareness, they are not merely performing exercises. They are sending a signal that the body is still vital, still engaged, still capable of shaping its own health trajectory. The nervous system, often underestimated in discussions about aging, plays a central role in this process. Muscles do not act alone. They are guided by intricate neural pathways that transmit signals from the brain to fibers and back again. Each gentle contraction, each deliberate stretch reinforces these pathways, preserving the communication that enables coordination, balance, and strength. Even minimal movement has cascading effects. The act of rising from a chair, shifting weight from one leg to the other, or reaching toward an object triggers a symphony of responses in the brain, the muscles, and the sensory organs. Over time, these repeated signals maintain synaptic connections, improve proprioception, and strengthen the body's internal map of itself. This is why what may appear as modest effort is, in reality, a profound conversation with the body's own biology. Muscle fibers, even those that have experienced years of inactivity, can respond to consistent stimuli by maintaining their structure, improving their efficiency, and preserving their capacity for work. Aging muscles do not simply wither, they adapt to the signals they receive. When these signals are absent, the body interprets inactivity as permission to reduce effort, leading to weakness, reduced coordination, and slower reflexes. But when the body is regularly asked to engage, even through simple home workouts, it remembers its purpose and reclaims function that might have seemed lost. Beyond the physical, this interaction has deeper implications for confidence and independence. Seniors who consistently engage their bodies with intentional movement often report a renewed sense of agency. They notice that ordinary tasks, standing, walking, reaching, require less conscious effort and less fear of imbalance or fatigue. There is a subtle empowerment in this process, the realization that the body, even with age, is not a passive vessel, but an active participant in daily life. From a physiological perspective, every session of movement promotes circulation, enhances metabolic activity, and supports hormonal balance. These benefits ripple outward, affecting organ function, cognitive clarity, and overall energy levels. Furthermore, the interplay between muscle activation and neural signaling strengthens reflexes and coordination, which are critical for fall prevention and functional independence. The act of moving becomes a dialogue, a negotiation between the intentions of the mind and the responses of the body. In this ongoing conversation, consistency and attentiveness are more valuable than intensity or duration. Each small, mindful movement carries within it the potential to reshape biological pathways, preserve functional capacity, and maintain the subtle harmony that keeps the body resilient and responsive. Muscles are more than mere engines of movement. They are dynamic organs that communicate constantly with the nervous system, the heart, and the brain. In seniors, this communication becomes especially critical because maintaining strength is not just about lifting or pushing, it is about preserving independence and quality of life. Even light resistance exercises, such as gentle chair squats, wall push-ups, or small hand weights, create signals that travel along nerves to the brain, reinforcing the connection between intention and action. These signals strengthen the motor pathways that allow the body to move with precision and confidence. When muscles are used regularly, even for brief periods, they send biochemical messages that stimulate growth, maintain tone, and prevent atrophy. This process is subtle but powerful. The body responds not only to the act of moving, but to the consistency and mindfulness with which the movement is performed. Strength exercises are especially important for the large muscle groups that support posture, balance, and mobility. The muscles of the legs, hips, and core act as stabilizers, ensuring that seniors can rise from chairs, climb stairs, or walk without excessive effort. Weakness in these areas can lead to a cascade of functional decline, making ordinary tasks daunting. By engaging these muscles in safe, controlled ways, seniors are not just building strength, they are maintaining the framework that allows the rest of the body to function optimally. Beyond the physical benefits, these exercises have a profound neurological impact. Each repetition reinforces neuromuscular coordination, the delicate communication network that governs timing, control, and force. When this network is preserved, movements become more fluid, reflexes faster, and the risk of imbalance lower. Even simple exercises, when performed regularly, act as a rehearsal for daily life, training the body to respond with agility and efficiency. Moreover, strength training encourages the body to release hormones that support tissue repair, energy metabolism, and cognitive function. The interplay of these systems illustrates that no movement occurs in isolation. Every action engages multiple layers of biology. From cellular energy production to brain connectivity, consistency is key. Short, regular sessions are more effective than sporadic, intense workouts. With each carefully executed repetition, seniors reinforce the message that their muscles are still needed, that they are still capable, and that functional independence is attainable. The subtle improvements compound over time, building a foundation that supports not just movement, but confidence, resilience, and a sense of agency in everyday life. Balance is often taken for granted until it begins to waver, and yet it is one of the most intricate and vital functions of the human body, a quiet collaboration between multiple systems working seamlessly together. When we stand upright, the eyes are reading the environment, sending signals about space, distance, and orientation to the brain. The inner ear, with its delicate semicircular canals and fluid-filled chambers, detects even the slightest shifts in head position, relaying information about tilt, rotation, and acceleration. The muscles of the legs, hips, and core respond almost instantaneously, contracting or relaxing to adjust posture and maintain stability. The nervous system integrates these sensory inputs and coordinates motor outputs, continuously refining the body's alignment in response to both internal and external changes. In seniors, subtle declines in any one of these systems can make balance more challenging, but this does not signify an endpoint. Gentle, intentional exercises can train all these components simultaneously, strengthening the body's ability to respond to instability. A simple practice of standing on one foot while lightly supporting oneself on a countertop engages not only the leg muscles, but also challenges the brain to process sensory information more efficiently. Shifting weight from side to side or walking slowly heel to toe requires coordination, precision, and mindfulness, and each attempt strengthens the pathways that govern postural control. Even exercises that seem minimal from an outside perspective create profound internal activity. The brain is actively predicting movement, adjusting for errors, and sending corrective signals back to the muscles. Over time, this neuroplasticity enhances proprioception, the body's internal sense of position and motion, which is crucial for preventing falls and maintaining confidence in daily activity. Balance exercises also encourage subtle strengthening of stabilizing muscles that might otherwise be neglected. The small muscles surrounding the ankles, knees, and hips provide critical support for the larger muscles of the legs and core, and when these stabilizers are engaged regularly, they enhance coordination and responsiveness. This training is not only about preventing accidents, it also preserves fluidity and grace in movement, allowing seniors to perform daily tasks with greater ease and less conscious effort. Moreover, balance work has cognitive implications. It requires focus, attention, and awareness of the body and space, all of which stimulate brain function and improve reaction time. Seniors who engage in consistent balance practice often notice an increased sense of control, reduced fear of falling, and greater willingness to move freely in their environment. The exercises need not be complex. The simplicity of shifting weight, standing with proper alignment, or practicing controlled movements provides sufficient stimulus to activate both muscular and neural systems. The body, when challenged thoughtfully, adapts, strengthens, and recalibrates. Through gentle and deliberate practice, seniors can maintain and even enhance balance, reinforcing the harmony between sensory perception, muscular response, and neural processing. Mobility is one of the most profound indicators of health, yet it is often misunderstood as mere flexibility. True mobility is the body's ability to move freely and efficiently, to navigate daily life with ease, and to maintain the health of its joints, muscles, and connective tissues. Unlike muscles which receive abundant blood flow, cartilage, the smooth tissue that cushions our joints, relies primarily on movement to receive nutrients. Each time a joint bends, stretches, or rotates, it pumps fluid rich in oxygen and essential molecules into the cartilage, nourishing it in a process that blood alone cannot accomplish. When joints are neglected and left stiff, this natural irrigation slows and the tissues gradually lose resilience. For seniors, regular, gentle range of motion exercises are not just a convenience, they are a vital maintenance system. Simple movements, such as slowly raising the arms overhead, circling the shoulders, gently rotating the hips, or bending the knees in controlled sequences, ensure that each joint receives adequate stimulation. These movements prevent the buildup of stiffness, maintain tissue elasticity, and preserve the subtle balance between strength and suppleness that allows the body to function fluidly. There is a remarkable adaptability in the tissues that often goes unappreciated. Even in later years, when a joint may feel stiff or uncomfortable, repeated, mindful movement can gradually restore its range, improve lubrication, and enhance overall function. Mobility work is not limited to the major joints. It extends to the spine, wrists, ankles, and smaller articulations that play critical roles in posture, balance, and coordination. Each movement, however modest, encourages the nervous system to recalibrate motor patterns, ensuring that the body moves in harmony and with less strain. Beyond the biological effects, mobility exercises carry significant psychological benefits. The act of intentionally moving through a full range of motion cultivates awareness of the body, deepens connection to one's physical presence, and fosters confidence in the ability to navigate space safely. When seniors observe the gradual improvement in ease and fluidity, it reinforces the understanding that the body is resilient and capable of adaptation. Mobility also interacts synergistically with strength and balance. Flexible joints allow muscles to contract efficiently and maintain stability during dynamic movements, reducing the risk of injury. Similarly, when balance exercises are performed on joints that move freely, the nervous system can process sensory input more accurately, enhancing coordination. In practice, mobility training does not require intensity or duration. Its efficacy lies in consistency and mindfulness. Gentle, repeated movements performed daily or several times a week are sufficient to stimulate cartilage, maintain connective tissue health, and preserve functional independence. Each motion sends a message to the body that it is valued, that it is cared for, and that its potential for movement is far from lost. Over time, these subtle invitations to move compound, creating a foundation that supports not only physical function, but also the body's capacity to adapt gracefully to the challenges of aging. Movement is not merely a physical act. It is an expression of agency, a declaration that the body is still capable of participating fully in life. For seniors, engaging in consistent, gentle exercise carries profound effects not only on muscles, bones, and joints, but also on mood, cognition, and overall sense of self. When a person chooses to move intentionally, they are sending signals throughout the body that life is ongoing, that adaptation is still possible, and that independence is worth cultivating. Physical activity stimulates the release of natural chemicals in the brain, such as endorphins and neurotransmitters, which support emotional stability, reduce stress, and enhance clarity of thought. But beyond the biochemical benefits, there is a psychological resonance to movement. Every step, every stretch, every controlled contraction reminds the body and mind that effort produces change, that the passage of time does not equate to helplessness, and that care for oneself is an act of respect and awareness. The effects of movement on cognition are equally significant. Exercise requires attention, coordination, and intentionality, engaging neural circuits that govern balance, spatial awareness, and executive function. Simple practices, such as standing from a chair with deliberate control, shifting weight mindfully, or moving slowly through a familiar routine, stimulate the brain's plasticity, reinforcing pathways that maintain reaction time, memory, and decision-making abilities. This constant engagement of mind and body fosters resilience and mitigates some of the cognitive decline often associated with aging. Consistency, rather than intensity, emerges as the central principle. Scientific observation shows that the body responds most profoundly to repeated, gentle, and mindful movement. Short, daily sessions have the capacity to reshape muscular strength, joint health, and neural responsiveness far more effectively than sporadic bursts of strenuous activity. Kindness toward the body becomes an essential part of this process. Recognizing current limitations, moving within safe ranges, and avoiding overexertion preserves enthusiasm and reduces risk, allowing seniors to sustain a practice that continually communicates, "You are valued, you are capable, you are still here." Over time, these small, intentional movements accumulate into noticeable improvements in mobility, stability, and confidence. Beyond measurable physical outcomes, there is a quiet yet powerful transformation in perspective. Seniors who engage regularly with home workouts often experience a renewed sense of agency. They approach daily tasks with less hesitation. They move with greater assurance, and they reclaim autonomy over their own bodies. Each exercise becomes a dialogue between mind and body, a way to affirm presence and vitality in the face of natural aging. The repeated, respectful engagement with movement reinforces a subtle but profound understanding that aging is not a passive decline, but a phase in which the body, guided by conscious effort, continues to adapt, respond, and flourish. The act of moving, therefore, is both a scientific intervention and a philosophical practice, cultivating resilience, empowerment, and a deep appreciation for the enduring capabilities of the human body.